everyone, and happy spring. I'm Lisa and this is my channel, The Southern Seamstress. Now that it's spring, I thought it would be a perfect time to do another gift idea video. So the last few weeks I've searched the internet and I've selected 9 free patterns to share with you to help inspire you to start your spring sewing. All of these patterns are fairly easy and quick to make, and they're great for using up your scraps. So let's get started with pattern number 1. This pattern is called the Quilted Easter Basket by Minky Kim. The tutorial can be found on the We All Sew website. So several of these patterns I'm sharing I've actually gotten made up, and this is one of them. Now here's my basket. I made it out of quilter's cotton. This cute little bee fabric and the lining fabric are both from Hobby Lobby. And the strips that make up the handle, those were a collection of strips that I bought from Walmart last year. So the website gives the full tutorial with pictures and written instructions. Pretty easy to follow along. This pattern does call for some foam batting, and I used Annie's Soft and Stable. You will also need some polypro webbing to put inside your strap handle, and this helps the strap stay up on its own instead of falling down. I think she references a polypro webbing by Annie's, just like the foam batting, but I actually got some off of Amazon, and this is what it looks like. It's just kind of plasticky feeling webbing, and I got 12 yards of this 1-inch webbing for $9 off Amazon, and it worked great. Now if you don't want to get 12 yards, I think it does come in like 6-yard rolls, and then I think there's some other sellers that maybe have a smaller quantity than that. But I thought I would be able to use it, you know, maybe in some tote bags that I make in the future, so I'll have plenty on hand. Now I will say, of all the patterns I'm sharing, I think this one did take me the longest, and it probably is the most complicated, because you're going to quilt the side piece and you're also going to quilt the bottom circle. Now she gives you a template to download for the bottom, which I think is just a 7.5-inch circle, and then she gives you the measurements for the binding and then the side, which is just a long rectangle. Now I think I did one thing a little differently than hers. Now when you put the sides and the bottom together, it will have an exposed seam, and then you take some bias tape and you cover the seam up. Now I think on hers, she actually did it the opposite way, where the exposed seam was on the outside, and then she covered that up with the bias tape. I did mine the opposite. I wasn't sure how pretty my bias tape finished edge was going to be, because it's a little bit difficult trying to cover this bulky seam with bias tape. So I thought if it didn't look really good, it wouldn't matter, because it would be in the inside of the basket. So I kind of like it that I did put it in the inside, because I think now my outside has a nice neat finish. But once you get the bottom attached, the rest is fairly simple. The binding on top is easy to put on. You machine sew the binding to the outside of the basket, and then you can either machine stitch the inside of the binding or you can hand stitch it, and I chose to hand stitch it because I thought I could, you know, get a neater finish. So I think that worked out well. Now when you attach the strap, you can either just sew it to your basket or you can use a rivet. Her pictures show using rivets, and I already had some rivets from Cam Snap, and so I just used my Cam Snap table press and attached these little metallic rivets on each side. I liked using the rivets because then your handle is movable. So I think this does make a cute Easter basket, or you could use it to put a gift in, or you could use it for storing, you know, sewing supplies or yarn or anything you wanted. And you could change up the look of the basket just by using, you know, different prints of fabric. You can make it look more springish or summery or holiday-ish, or more for a boy or girl. So I think it's a very versatile basket, and I think it's just super cute. So that's the Quilted Easter Basket by Minky Kim. Now the next pattern I want to share is very similar to the first one. They call it a sewing basket, and it is found on the Sewing Illustration website, which is actually Mickey Kim's website. Although this one's similar, I wanted to include it because it actually has a YouTube video tutorial showing her make it. So I thought it would be helpful to have a video to watch whether you're making the first one or this one. I think the main differences in these baskets are that they have an oval shaped bottom instead of a round bottom, and that the bottom and the side pieces aren't quilted. They do use the foam batting, but they're not quilted. So that's the second basket by Mickey Kim. Now, several of the following patterns are going to have a common theme, and that is that they include a bunny design. So the third pattern I want to share is by Crafty for Home, and it is a reversible Easter bunny treat bag. Now, I didn't make this one, but I thought it was really cute. It just takes 2 pieces of quilter's cotton and a little bit of ribbon. These bags are really simple to make, and they're reversible, and you can either just tie ribbon around them after you fill them with some treats, or to make the ribbon stay on it better, you can make some little loops on each side and then thread the ribbon through each side, and it'll kind of stay in place better. So I thought these were simple enough that you can make quite a few of them to give out at Easter, or I thought they would also be cute to use as birthday party favors, because bunnies just aren't for Easter. You know, they look cute any time of the year. Now, the next pattern can also be used as a treat bag. I thought this one was really cute, so I made up an example of this one to show you guys. This pattern is called the Drawstring Bunny Bag by Make It and Love It. Now, it can also be found on the We All Sew website. So on the website, you'll find a download for the free pattern, which I think it just has like the ear piece and then this body piece, and then it tells you the dimensions of this little drawstring area. But it's really easy to make. I think when they're making the pattern, it doesn't have any interfacing in the ears, but I had seen somebody comment somewhere that they put some interfacing in their ears, either on this pattern or another one, so that the ears would stand up and not flop over. So when I was looking through my little scraps of interfacing, I saw some scraps that I had of the Insel Bright that I had used for like pot holders and kitchen items. So I actually used a piece of Insel Bright, so it makes the ears stand up, and it also gives them a little bit of a crinkle sound when you scrunch up the ears. So I just used some plain cream colored quilter's cotton for the body so that I could paint a face on the front. And for the face, I looked at some templates online, just Googled bunny face templates, and I liked this one. So I just used these fabric markers that I already had, and I think they originally maybe came from Hobby Lobby. So I think it turned out really cute. So you're gonna put a little strip for the drawstring on the front and the back, and then you're gonna cut 2 pieces, I think about 20-inch lengths of cording, or you could use a ribbon too. So you run each piece all the way around and have the ends of one coming out on this end and then the ends coming out here. Just knot them, and then after you put your treats in, you can just cinch it closed. So I just thought this was really cute. So that was the Drawstring Bunny Bag by Make It and Love It. So pattern number 5 is also a bunny themed pattern. Now, I didn't make this one, but I thought it was really cute, and it's called the Bunny Holder by Thermaweb. So on their website, they have a download for the template of the pattern. But basically, it looks kind of like an oval with little ears sticking up, and then it's got a couple of pockets going across the front, which they've bound with some bias binding. And then you can stuff little treats or toys in it for a child. So you can put a loop on the top so that you can hang it on a hook or a knob somewhere in the child's room. I really like the pink gingham one in the photo. I think it looks really cute. But you could use some textured fabric like the other one shows and make it look more furry, I guess. So that's the Bunny Holder by Thermaweb. So the next pattern is called the All Ears Basket, and it is by Over the Rainbow and Back. So on the website, they'll have a link to download the pattern for the little basket. And basically, it's just going to look like this once you put it together. It's got these long ear extensions. Now you could easily make this, you know, longer or wider and change the size of it. Along with the pattern piece, they also have a download where you can download this face, and I think you can import it. Like if you have a Cricut machine or a cutting machine, you can import this file into your software, and I think she gives instructions on how much to shrink it down, because you won't be using it this big. This is just how big it printed off when I just printed it on my regular printer. So I think she gives you the dimensions on how big the face should be to fit on the basket. So I did make this one up, and I changed a couple of things. So for my bag, I used this pretty rose-colored canvas from Hobby Lobby, and I believe the lining was also from Hobby Lobby. I just got it recently. Now I did do a couple of changes to mine. One thing is, when you make it according to the instructions, it's going to come out with 4 ears instead of 2 ears. I guess that's why it's called all ears basket. And it looks cute that way, but I thought I would connect the ear pieces so that it would come out with 2 ears. So here's how it looks with just 2 ears. And of course they're fairly wide ears, so if you do the 4 ears, they're only going to be, you know, half this width, like this. So to make it where it has 2 ears, you basically just sew it up like you do the little hobo bag that I had on my Valentine's or heart inspired video a few weeks ago. So when you do it with the 4 ears on this, you're going to just sew up the sides to right here to the bottom and then across the bottom. But if you want to make the 4 ears into 2 ears, you're going to go ahead and sew up the entire side of the 2 pieces of exterior, and then the same thing on the 2 pieces of lining. And if you do that, I would say to, when you cut it out, to make the ends of this piece straight across, because it's just going to make it easier for you to sew the seam all the way up. And then when you put the lining to the exterior, then you can curve that in. But if you're, and that's only if you're going to do the 2 ears instead of 4 ears. If you're going to make it just like the picture with the 4 ears, then you're going to cut it out just like that. Now I do have a Cricut machine, but honestly I haven't used it in a couple years, and I don't think I had any metallic gold foil vinyl to use. And I really didn't have the time to get it out and try to remember how everything works, how the setup goes. So what I did was I took this template and I shrunk it down to like, I think 42%. And then I tried to kind of trace that out on the front of my bag. And I used a fabric pen that was a metallic bronze. Now I'm not completely happy how that turned out, because I was hoping that the fabric paint would show up a little bit denser and a little bit shinier. It really wanted to bleed into the fabric. Now I did go over it 2 or 3 times, and I think it looks cute, but I think if it was shinier, it would be cuter. This bag also has a little box bottom that helps it kind of stand flat when you fill it up with treats. So I think this bag's plenty big enough for treats, but you could also put some small toys in it too. So that's the All Ears basket by Over the Rainbow and Back. So the next pattern I want to share doesn't include a bunny, but I think it's very spring inspired, and it's called the Flower Shaped Pillow by the Stitching Scientist. So on their website you can find all the instructions, and then you also are going to download a template that's basically this petal right here, and then you'll cut that petal out 6 times. And then she has 2 circle templates, this one right here, and then there's a smaller one. So once you sew your 6 pieces together, then you're going to lay that on a solid piece of fabric and just cut out a matching piece for the back that's just solid. And now if you wanted to, you can make both the front and the back pieced, but how she has it is just having the back a solid piece of fabric. So you put those together, you know, leave an opening, and then you're going to turn it right side out, and then you're going to take the smaller circle template, lay it down, and then mark around it, and then you're going to sew down through both layers this circle right here, and then you'll just stuff it all the way around. So once you get that done and then close up the opening, you cut 2 pieces from this larger circle, and she has you interface them. I think I used 2 layers of a fusible fleece. And then you turn that right side out, and then I just top stitched around the outside edges. And then she just has you kind of hand sew this circle down to the middle of this flower. Now, one thing you could do is you could put a piece of Velcro on the back surface of this circle, and then you could put the matching piece of Velcro on the middle of this pillow, and then you could just stick it there, and then you wouldn't even have to do any hand sewing right there. But I've just got it hand sewed. So I thought this was a really cute little pillow. I've had it in my desk chair since I've made it. So it's gotten a little bit squished for me sitting back against it. And to make this one, I use some fabrics from a Fat Quarter collection. I think that I got off of Etsy. But any coordinating fabrics would look cute, and of course this makes it look springy with the pink and the greens. But you could change up the looks using, brighter, darker colors. Now I think this pillow comes out to about 15 inches. So if you wanted a bigger pillow or smaller, you could just, enlarge or shrink down your petal pieces. So this is the flower shaped pillow by the Stitching Scientist. So I've got 2 more patterns to share, and I've made one of them and I'm saving it for last. So pattern number 8 is the Bold Mini Quilt pattern. I found this pattern on the Sew Can She website, but the pattern is actually by Down Grapevine Lane. I think Caroline of Sew Can She is showcasing a monthly mini quilt, and I think this one was the one she did for March. I can't remember the exact measurements of this little quilt, but it's fairly small. She made it and was hanging it in a little group of quilts on her wall. And when I saw it, it kind of reminded me of some of the oversized hot pads that I've made in the past. Now, I thought the colors that she used looked really springy. So when you look at the photo of the one she made, it looks like it's made out of rectangles, but actually it's made out of a lot of little triangles sewn together to make squares. I thought this would be a good project for someone who wants to learn how to do a little quilting but doesn't want to take on a full quilting project. Once she gets the little pieces all sewn together, she just uses her machine to do some long quilting lines for the piece. So I think you could hang this on the wall, or you could use it as a hot pad too if you added some Insulbrite along with the batting, or even as a little centerpiece on a smaller table. And depending on what fabrics you choose, you could change it up to look more summery or fallish or wintry. So that brings us down to the last gift idea pattern, and I think you're going to like this one. It's really cute and it has a bunny theme. So this pattern is called the Bunny Lovey Blanket by Gray House Harbor. So it's just a very small little blanket. It measures about 12-inch square, and you can make it out of different types of fabric. You could do a quilter's cotton and then a flannel. What I used was some pink flannel for the backing and the inside of the ears, and then I had some scraps of this kind of ivory colored chenille fabric from a blanket that I had made previously. So I thought that would be really cute and snuggly and soft for the front of the blanket. So that's just some cotton chenille. So the only template that you download for this little blanket is actually the ears. So there's going to be a PDF that looks like this. And they have a pattern for the left ear and a separate one for the right ear. I think the angle on the bottom is just slightly different, but not much. Now, you don't interface these ears. You want to be kind of soft and floppy for the child that's holding it. So this is a super easy pattern. You're basically going to cut out 2 squares and then 4 ear pieces. And then for the face, because it would be hard to paint on something textured like this, she has you cut out a 3 1/4 inch square, and then on her pattern she actually just folds down the 2 edges here and then stitches those down. But what I did, I wanted my face a little bit thicker, so I cut out 2 squares, and then seamed them on these two sides and then turned them out. And I think that's easier because you don't have to worry about keeping the little folded edges in here neatly because you've got a seam right here. So I did my bunny face a little bit differently. I used the same fabric markers that I did on the drawstring bag. And I just looked at some more templates online and I thought this one was cute. So I just painted this on with the markers and then attached it to this outer edge. And then you're going to put the two pieces together, but you're going to lay your ears inside so that they're even with this, but they're tucked inside. And then sew it around and leave a space to turn. And then once you turn it and press it, then you can top stitch all the way around and that'll close up your opening. And then you get this cute little bunny. Now I really like this pattern. I know little toddlers like to carry around little blankets and little stuffed animals, anything that's soft and cuddly. Now I think I'm going to put my little Lovey blanket in one of my Operation Christmas Child shoe boxes this year for the 2 to 4 year olds. And of all these patterns, I think this is the one I'm definitely going to make again because I would like to make one for each of the 2 to 4 year old boxes. So I think this not only works well for Easter, but for any time of the year for a baby or a toddler. So I think it would be really cute to include with a baby shower gift. So that's the Bunny Lovey blanket by Gray House Harbor. So that does it for this spring inspired gift idea video. So I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. So in the comments, let me know which pattern you like the best and which ones you might make up this spring. So if you haven't subscribed already, I would love you to hit that subscribe button and get notified every time I upload a video. And as always, thanks so much for taking the time to watch my video, and until I see you in my next one, take care and happy sewing.